Welcome to Monk's Temple. Settle in, and let your breath find its own gentle rhythm. In this quiet space, our deepest questions often surface. Why does the heart pull toward one person and not another? And perhaps the most intimate mystery, why do we share our life with the partner we have? Society offers stories of fate and fairy tale romance. But beneath that surface runs a deeper, ancient current that has shaped human connection for millennia. Tonight, we gently pull back that curtain. We are not here to discuss chance or luck. We are here to explore the silent architecture of the heart, built by the timeless principle the Buddha called karma. This is a journey from confusion to clarity, from blame to sacred understanding. Let us explore the real reasons behind why you married who you married, guided by profound and liberating Buddhist wisdom. First, we must recalibrate what karma truly means. It is often simplified as cosmic revenge or reward. In Buddhism, karma is more nuanced and intelligent. It is the universal law of cause and effect applied to consciousness. The Buddha taught that every intentional thought, word, and action plants a seed in the field of our awareness. These seeds lie dormant, and when conditions are right, they sprout into our experiences. Think of your mind not as a blank slate at birth, but as a vast, inherited garden. You did not plant all the seeds. Many were sown long before, in seasons you do not remember. But you are the gardener now. Your relationships, especially your marriage, are among the most prominent plants growing. They are the visible blossoming of seeds your consciousness planted in the past. This means your marriage is not an accident. It is a manifestation. The person you chose is a living response to energies you carry. Buddhism calls this pratyaya samutpada, dependent origination. Nothing exists alone. Your marriage arose from a complex web of causes stretching back through time. This perspective removes randomness and inserts sacred meaning. Your partner is your karmic assignment, your personal curriculum. But here is the empowering twist: the curriculum is not about them. It is about you. They are the mirror, the reflection is your soul's unfinished work. Let's begin with the force that brings people together, attraction. We call it chemistry or connection. From a karmic view, that pull is often less about discovery and more about soul recognition. It is a deep, subconscious memory activating. Have you ever met someone and felt an immediate, inexplicable sense of familiarity, as if reuniting with an old friend? Or felt an instinctive caution around someone who seems pleasant? These are not random feelings. They are karmic memories whispering. A feeling of coming home suggests a past connection woven with harmony. A subtle aversion may hint at a history where trust was broken. Your soul is reading an energetic resume your conscious mind cannot see. I knew a woman named Clara, a pragmatic marine biologist. She met Leo, a jazz pianist, at a conservation event. When he played, she felt a resonance in her bones, a strange nostalgia. Their conversation felt like reminiscing, not exploring. Their relationship unfolded with an ease that baffled friends. Clara once said, "Being with Leo feels like remembering a language I'd forgotten." This is a signature of a bond from past harmony. Their karmic streams were already aligned. Their work in this life isn't to build basic trust, but to construct a sanctuary upon a foundation laid long ago. Their challenges are like storms on a deep ocean, they stir the surface but don't threaten the seabed. If this perspective begins to untangle knots for you, consider subscribing to Monk's Temple. Let this be a nightly sanctuary for clarity. Your subscription is a gentle commitment to your inner journey, a candle lit in the window of your consciousness. But not all recognition feels like a homecoming. Sometimes, it feels like walking into a room where an argument was never finished. The air is thick with old tension. This is karmic recognition of unresolved patterns. The attraction is intense, often magnetic, but laced with familiar friction. You may feel drawn to someone who embodies the very qualities that challenge your deepest wounds. This is not a mistake. It is your soul's courage, choosing the exact teacher you need to heal a wound carried for a long time. Consider Ethan, an architect who creates order from chaos. He fell for Maya, a free-spirited artist whose life was creative tumult. He was drawn to her vibrancy, but her unpredictability triggered in him a cold, controlling anger. Their fights were cyclonic. In therapy, when asked to sit with the anxiety her chaos provoked, Ethan was guided beneath his anger. He found a terrified 8-year-old boy, a child of divorce, shuttled between homes, his world constant flux. Maya's spontaneity was the stone thrown into his psyche. The turbulent waves were the ancient wake of that child's fear. Ethan hadn't just married Maya. He had married that unhealed child, and Maya was the mirror showing him where that child lived. The karmic lesson wasn't to change Maya. It was for Ethan to finally become the safe parent for his own inner child, to soothe that old fear. As he began that work, his need to control softened. This is the marriage of psychological insight and Buddhist wisdom. Your partner's triggering behaviors are precise indicators on your inner map, pointing to unhealed territories. The Buddhist teachings on mindfulness give us the tool to explore this map. When triggered, instead of reacting, pause. Name the emotion. This is anxiety. Feel its physical signature. Breathe. Then ask the karmic question, where have I felt this before? This turns your partner from an opponent into a guru. We introduce a metaphor, the karmic loom. Your soul's journey is an immense loom. The vertical threads are core themes, love, forgiveness, compassion. The horizontal threads are specific experiences of each lifetime. Your current marriage is the shuttle weaving now. The patterns already woven are your past karma. You cannot cut those threads. But you hold the shuttle now. You choose the new thread. Do you repeat the old, painful knot? Or consciously choose a new color, the gold of patience, the silver of mindful speech, and change the design? The loom is your karma. The choice of thread is your free will. The weaver is your aware presence. This addresses a deep fear: if it's karma, am I a puppet? The Buddha's life is the answer. He was born a prince. His loom. His free will was his response, his renunciation, his search, his awakening. His past karma led him to the Bodhi tree. His resolve to stay awake was his free will. In your marriage, your karma may have brought you a distant partner. That's the existing thread. Your free will is your response. Do you cling in anxiety? Ice over in resentment? Or weave a new thread? You might say, I feel lonely when you retreat. I'll care for myself, and I'm here when you're ready. That conscious choice changes the pattern. You are not a puppet. You are the weaver becoming awake. Let's continue. If the first recognition is of the loom itself, the patterns we've inherited, the next step is understanding the different types of cloth being woven. Not all karmic marriages look or feel the same. They serve different purposes in your soul's education. Broadly, we can see them as three types, though many relationships are a blend. Understanding which classroom you're in can transform frustration into focused learning. First, there is the marriage of reconciliation. This union often feels intensely passionate but equally volatile. The arguments are dramatic, the reconciliations sweeter, and the cycles repeat with a haunting familiarity. You might feel like you're replaying the same fight with different details for years. This is not a sign you're with the wrong person. It is often the hallmark of a relationship designed for karmic resolution. Your souls have likely met before, perhaps as lovers who betrayed one another, as rivals in conflict, or as family members with a painful rift. The intense attraction is the soul's memory of that powerful connection, the conflict is the echo of what was left unresolved. The karma here is not to reenact the old drama perfectly, but to change the ending. Each argument is a chance to rewrite an ancient script. If you always fought to win, try listening to understand. If you always withdrew and hurt, try voicing your pain. You are healing a rupture that may be centuries old. I recall a couple, Anya and Mark. Their fights were legendary among friends, explosive, centered on perceived slights and betrayals. In a moment of exhausted honesty, Anya said, "It feels like we're trying to settle a debt from another life, but we've both forgotten what we owe." That intuition was profound. With guidance, they began to see their conflicts not as personal attacks, but as ghosts of an old battle. During one fight, Mark, instead of his usual counter-accusation, paused and said, "This feels ancient. It feels like I've been defending myself against you forever. I don't want to do that anymore." That moment of metacognition, of seeing the pattern from above, changed the energy entirely. They began to approach disputes as archaeologists, gently brushing sand off a shared, buried artifact. Their marriage became a gentle excavation, not a war zone. The second type is the marriage of stewardship. This bond often appears imbalanced to outsiders. One partner may give significantly more, emotionally, financially, or in care, while the other receives. It can look like martyrdom or dependency. But at a karmic level, this is often a relationship of debt and gratitude. Perhaps in a past interaction, one soul offered the other an extraordinary kindness, protection, or sacrifice. Now, the soul who received feels a profound, often inexplicable, pull to reciprocate, to balance the scales. The key lesson here is learning to give freely from a full cup, not from a place of depleted obligation, and for the receiver, to learn the grace of accepting help. The danger is that the giver may build silent resentment, turning a sacred debt into a prison of guilt. The healing comes when the act of giving becomes conscious, willing, and free. Take the story of Ben, a quiet teacher, and Elijah, a brilliant artist who struggled with debilitating anxiety. Ben naturally handled all practicalities, finances, appointments, social planning, creating a container within which Elijah could create. Friends wondered why Ben put up with the imbalance. One evening, watching Elijah finally achieve a breakthrough in his work, Ben was flooded with a pure, fierce joy that had no trace of resentment. He realized his care wasn't a burden. It was an offering. He later shared, "It feels like a sacred task, like tending a rare and fragile garden I was entrusted with." Conversely, Elijah's lesson was to receive without guilt, to see his vulnerability not as a flaw but as part of his human landscape, and to offer his unique gifts in return. Theirs was a quiet, purposeful dance of balancing energies. The third type is the Dharma partnership. This is rarer and represents a later stage in karmic evolution. Here, two souls, having done significant individual work, come together not to resolve old pain, but to build something new in alignment with a shared purpose. The relationship feels more like a calm, steady river than a turbulent sea. There is deep affection, but the drama of attachment and aversion has greatly diminished. The bond is less about, what can I get from you, and more about, what can we create and offer together. Their union becomes a vehicle for service, creativity, or shared spiritual practice. This is a marriage not born from need, but from conscious choice and aligned intention. Now, we must address a critical element woven through all these types: karmic timing. You can meet the most compatible soul at the completely wrong time in your mutual evolution. Imagine two seeds meant to grow into towering trees together. If one is planted in fertile, prepared soil and the other is still a dry seed in a pocket, their growth will be painfully mismatched. The Buddhist teachings on right time and conditions are crucial here. Your readiness matters. A soul may enter your life not to be your lifelong partner, but to prepare you for the next chapter. Their karma with you is preparatory. They may teach you patience, shatter your illusions, or show you your own capacity for forgiveness, so you are ready when a more harmonious connection arrives. Sophie believed she had met her soulmate in Alex. Their connection was electric, but Alex was emotionally unavailable, stuck in patterns from his own past. Sophie spent years trying to heal him, to make the relationship work, pouring her energy into a vessel with a crack in the bottom. When it finally ended, she was devastated, viewing it as a profound failure. Years later, after deep healing work on her own patterns of needing to fix others, she met Jordan. The connection was peaceful, supportive, and mutual from the start. Reflecting, Sophie said, "Alex wasn't the wrong person. He was the perfect, painful lesson I needed to learn my own worth and to stop confusing caretaking with love. I had to learn with him so I could be ready for Jordan. We met in love, but not in readiness." The preparatory relationship completed its karma not in union, but in the wisdom each carried forward. This understanding reframes how we view endings. In a culture obsessed with forever, any conclusion feels like failure. From a karmic perspective, a relationship completes its purpose when the core lesson has been integrated. Staying together beyond that point isn't loyalty, it's spiritual stagnation. Signs of completion include a sense of deep inner knowing, the dissolution of intense emotional charge, you feel neutral or grateful rather than passionately attached or adversarial, and a sense that both of you have grown as far as you can on this particular path together. Letting go then becomes an act of honor, not betrayal. A powerful practice for navigating any relationship, especially one feeling complete, is the conscious release. Sit quietly. In your mind's eye, hold the image of your partner. Acknowledge one major gift they gave you, e.g., you taught me resilience. Acknowledge one pattern you contributed to, e.g., I contributed with my defensiveness. Then, silently say, for the lessons, I thank you. For the pains, I forgive us both. I release this bond with love and wish you peace on your journey. You are not erasing history. You are filing it with grace, preventing old karma from becoming future baggage. Let's continue. To truly understand the specific patterns we're drawn to, we must look at the first mirror we ever encountered, our family. The dynamics you witnessed and absorbed in childhood are more than psychological templates. In the Buddhist view, they are your primary karmic inheritance, the initial threads on your loom. You were born into this specific family, with all its beauty and its fractures, because it presented the exact curriculum your soul needed. Your parents' relationship is your foundational lesson in love, conflict, and intimacy. What you observed, be it secure affection, quiet distance, or volatile passion, becomes your subconscious blueprint for what love is and what you feel you deserve. This is ancestral karma in motion. You are born into a stream of behavioral and emotional patterns that flow through generations. You are not doomed to repeat them, but you are magnetically inclined toward their familiar resonance. Your task is to bring conscious awareness to this blueprint and decide, will I build the same structure, or design a new one? Consider David. His father was kind but emotionally silent, his mother was vibrant but often voiced loneliness. David vowed never to be a distant partner like his father. He married a lively, expressive woman. Yet within years, his wife began expressing the same lonely frustration his mother had. David was confused. In therapy, he discovered his unconscious pattern. When faced with strong emotion, he internally froze and retreated into logical problem solving, mirroring his father. Despite his conscious intention, he had no model for staying emotionally present during conflict. He had inherited the behavioral karma of withdrawal. His work was not to blame his father, but to forgive him as a fellow soul in a pattern, and then consciously learn a new skill, emotional articulation. He began with simple, awkward phrases, I feel overwhelmed, but I am here. I need a moment to find my words. This new thread began to change his marital fabric. This brings us to a psychological insight wrapped in a Buddhist metaphor, the echo chamber of the heart. Imagine your childhood home as a chamber where certain emotional notes, criticism, affection, anger, joy, were played most often. Your heartstrings were tuned to resonate with those specific frequencies. As an adult, you are drawn to people who play those same notes, because they create a familiar resonance, a sense of home, even if that home was painful. A critical parent tunes your string to criticism, so you may attract critical partners. An absent parent tunes your string to abandonment, making unavailable partners feel compelling. The karma is not to live forever in that echo chamber, but to first recognize the tune, and then learn to retune your own instrument. Now, let's see how these inherited patterns manifest as core wounds that dictate our attractions. A common one is the wound of unworthiness. This is the deep-seated belief that you are not enough, not lovable, smart, or successful enough. If this is your core wound, your karmic assignment may be to partner with someone who reflects this belief back to you, not to punish you, but to force you to finally see and heal it. You might be drawn to partners who are subtly critical, dismissive, or who pedestal you, which is just another form of not seeing the real you. The relationship becomes a painful spotlight on your own self-rejection. Maya carried this wound. An accomplished lawyer, she was always drawn to charismatic, highly accomplished men who initially adored her but eventually became subtly condescending about her career. Each relationship left her feeling small. Through meditation, she confronted the critical voice inside her own head, an echo of her ambitious, never-satisfied mother. She had internalized that her worth was conditional on external achievement. She was attracting partners who played the role of external critic. Her karmic lesson was not to find a partner who never criticized her, but to dismantle her inner critic, to find worth independent of anyone's opinion. As she began this work, her attractions shifted. She started to value kindness and steadiness over dazzling achievement. Another pattern is the wound of abandonment. This is the primal fear that loved ones will leave. Its karmic play often involves clinging tightly to partners, preemptively leaving to avoid being left, or choosing emotionally unavailable partners, thus guaranteeing the abandonment you fear. The lesson is to learn self-comfort, to build an inner sanctuary of security. Then there is the wound of invisibility. This is the feeling that your true self was never seen or valued. The karmic pattern often involves marrying someone who is self-absorbed, or becoming a compulsive caretaker, making your own needs invisible again. The healing comes in learning to see and voice your authentic self first. The Buddhist practice for these wounds is mindful inquiry. When triggered by your partner, turn awareness inward. Pause. Breathe. Feel the emotion in your body. Ask, how old does this feeling make me feel? An age may surface, 8, 12, 15. Then ask, what did I need at that age that I didn't get? As the compassionate adult you are now, offer that to your inner child. Place a hand on your heart and whisper, I see you. You are safe. You are enough. This is direct karmic healing. You are mending the past in the present, retuning your heart's echo chamber. This inner work breaks ancestral cycles. You are not just healing for yourself, you are changing the karmic stream for your lineage. By retuning your instrument, you stop playing the old, dissonant notes your children would resonate with. You offer them a new song. Lena grew up in a house of loud, unresolved conflict. Love and anger were entangled. She married a man with a fiery temper. When their first child was born, she saw her own terrified, frozen response, a perfect replica of her childhood. She vowed not to pass on this echo. She learned to say calmly, I will not be spoken to this way. We can talk when your voice is calm. It was hard. She often failed. But she persisted. She was installing a new frequency in the family chamber. Years later, her teenage son said during a disagreement, It's okay, Mom. We can talk about this. We don't have to yell. In that moment, a chain of karma was broken. The new cloth on the loom was softer and more peaceful. Let's continue. The engine driving our relationship cycles is desire and attachment. In Buddhism, desire, tanha, is seen as a root of suffering. This isn't about rejecting healthy love or connection. It's about recognizing the clinging energy that says, I must have this to be happy. When this fuels our relationships, we aren't loving a person. We're attached to an idea or a need they seem to fill. Your modern attachment style is the psychological expression of these ancient karmic patterns. First, let's distinguish love from attachment with a metaphor, the open hand and the stream. Imagine love as your open hand resting on a stream's surface. Water, your partner, the relationship, flows over it. You feel it fully, but your hand doesn't clench. Attachment is a fist plunged into the water, desperately trying to hold on. It can't retain the water, and the effort exhausts the hand and muddies the stream. Much of our pain comes from mistaking the clenched fist for an open hand. Attached love says, I love you because I need you, to feel complete, validated, less lonely. It is conditional and fear-based. Real love says, I need you because I love you, I choose to grow beside you. It is rooted in choice and presence, embracing the full experience. The Buddha's teaching on non-attachment isn't about coldness. It's about loving so fully you don't need to possess. Now, see this in modern attachment styles. Anxious attachment, fear of abandonment, needing constant reassurance, is the karmic pattern of clinging. It's the clenched fist, born from unmet needs. This person will be drawn to partners who trigger their anxiety, giving them chances to see the clenching and practice opening their hand. Avoidant attachment, fear of engulfment, pulling away, is the karmic pattern of aversion. It's pushing water away for fear of drowning, often from wounds where intimacy felt dangerous. Their partners often seek closeness, providing the perfect conditions for this pattern to arise and be healed. Secure attachment reflects a more balanced karmic state where love isn't confused with need. This is the open hand. The goal is to move toward this by finding security within, not by changing your partner. Consider Sam and Riley. Sam had anxious attachment, needing constant contact. Riley, more independent, felt smothered and withdrew, triggering Sam further, a classic pursue-withdrawal loop. Sam's breakthrough came when he tracked his anxiety not as Riley's fault, but as a signal from his own body. The panic stemmed from a childhood feeling of being overlooked. His clinging was a child's strategy for attention. His karmic lesson was to give that attention to himself. He began a practice. When feeling the urge to text anxiously, he'd first place a hand on his heart and breathe for 2 minutes, offering himself reassurance. As his fist unclenched, Riley, feeling less pressure, naturally moved closer. They broke the cycle by working on their own sides of the karmic equation. Transforming relationship karma means shifting from external manipulation, trying to change your partner, to internal cultivation, healing the wound within that gets triggered. Your partner's behavior is the catalyst, but the reaction is yours to change. A powerful practice is rain. Recognize the feeling, this is anxiety. Allow it to be without fixing it. Investigate with kindness, where is it in my body? What does it need? Nurture, offer compassion to that need. Applying rain in a moment of trigger inserts a space of awareness between stimulus and reaction. In that space, you choose a new thread for your karmic loom. Another trap is the fantasy of the ideal partner. This is being in love with who they could be, not who they are. It places an impossible burden on them and ensures disappointment. The karmic lesson is to relinquish the fantasy and meet the real human. Chloe was convinced her husband Leo was her soulmate, but she was frustrated he wasn't more ambitious, more like her ideal. She loved a phantom. When Leo said, "I feel like you're always waiting for me to turn into someone else. It makes me want to hide," Chloe saw the pain her fantasy caused. Her work became to grieve the ideal and truly see Leo. She began silently noting, "This is Leo. This is real." As she released the fantasy, she discovered a deep, steady love for the man he was. The relationship moved from frustration to grounded appreciation. Working with desire and attachment is about moving from wanting to appreciating. From needing your partner to make you whole, to appreciating them as a fellow traveler toward wholeness. Your marriage becomes less about two halves making a whole, and more about two wholes sharing a journey. Let's continue. We often view conflict in relationships as a sign that something is wrong. We see arguments as failures of communication or compatibility. But from the vantage point of karma and conscious growth, conflict is not the problem. It is the precise location of the work. Your arguments are not interruptions to your peace, they are the curriculum for your peace. They shine a light directly on where your attachments are strongest, where your wounds are most tender, and where your ego is most invested. In this sense, your partner in conflict is your most direct spiritual teacher, presenting you with the exact lesson you need, in real time, with high stakes. Think of conflict not as a fire to be extinguished immediately, but as a sacred forge. A forge is an intensely hot, controlled environment where raw metal is hammered and shaped into something stronger and more useful. The heat is necessary. The hammering is necessary. Without it, the metal remains weak and impure. Your arguments provide the heat and the pressure. The conscious awareness you bring, or fail to bring, is the hammer and the anvil. Will you use the heat to temper your spirit into greater resilience and compassion, or will you let it burn everything down? The Buddha's teachings on right speech and right action are not passive rules for harmony. They are active tools for navigating the forge. Right speech in conflict means speaking truthfully, but also kindly, helpfully, and at the right time. It asks, is what I'm about to say true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? This triad creates a powerful filter between your triggered emotion and your spoken word. Right action means acting in ways that do no harm and promote healing, even when you feel hurt. This is not about being a doormat. It is about choosing the skillful means, upaya, to address the issue without adding more negative karma to the cycle. Let's look at a common argument pattern through this lens, the defensive loop. One partner expresses a complaint, "I felt hurt when you didn't call." The other partner immediately hears it as an attack and defends themselves, "I was busy." You know how work is. The first partner, feeling unheard, escalates, "You're always busy." The second, feeling attacked more, defends more vigorously. This loop creates no understanding, only resentment. Karmically, this is a replay of an old pattern, likely one where both individuals learned that vulnerability is dangerous and self-protection is paramount. The spiritual opportunity within the loop is for one person to step off the track. This requires seeing the loop as it starts, and choosing a different, conscious response. Imagine Sarah and Ben. Sarah felt neglected when Ben worked late. Her complaint would often begin with a sigh and, "You just don't care about this family." Ben would instantly fire back, "I'm doing this for the family. You have no idea the pressure I'm under." They'd spiral. One evening, in the middle of this familiar dance, Sarah remembered the teaching of the forge. Instead of repeating her line, she paused. She took a breath and said, softly, "I'm feeling scared. Scared that we're drifting apart. And maybe a little unimportant." This was not an accusation, it was a vulnerable sharing of her inner weather. Ben, disarmed by the shift from attack to vulnerability, felt his defensiveness melt. He sighed and said, "I'm scared too. Scared of failing you all." That moment of mutual vulnerability, born from one person stepping off the karmic loop, transformed their argument from a battle into a bridge. They were no longer hammering each other. They were together, hammering a new shape for their connection. This reveals a profound principle: the content of the argument is almost never the real issue. The real issue is the unmet need, the unhealed wound, or the triggered fear that lies beneath the surface complaint. The forgotten call, the messy kitchen, the misspent money, these are just the tangible hooks that snag the deeper, invisible fishing lines of our psyche. Your work is to gently pull on the line and see what's on the other end. Is it a childhood feeling of being an afterthought? A fear of being controlled? A wound of not being good enough? Another karmic pattern in conflict is the righteous stand. This is where the ego attaches itself to being right. You become more invested in proving your point than in connecting with your partner. You gather evidence, rehearse arguments, and fight to win. But in a marriage, if one person wins an argument, you both lose the connection. The Buddha taught about the emptiness of views, thirsty. Our opinions and positions are not solid, permanent truths, they are mental constructs, often built to protect a fragile sense of self. The karmic lesson here is to practice dropping the weapon of rightness. This doesn't mean abandoning your truth. It means holding it lightly enough to truly hear another's. You might say, I see this differently, and I want to understand your perspective. This simple shift can dissolve a wall of conflict. Consider Leo, who would engage in hours-long debates with his wife about politics or parenting, each trying to convince the other. It was a battle of intellects that left them both feeling lonely. Leo realized his need to be right was tied to a deep insecurity about his intelligence, stemming from being teased as a child. His righteous stands were a defense against that old shame. When he saw this, he could choose differently. In their next disagreement, he said, "You know, I'm realizing I'm attached to being right here. That's my stuff. Can you just tell me what you're feeling about this?" By naming his own pattern, he disarmed the entire conflict. They were no longer opponents, they were collaborators trying to understand a problem. Conflict also serves the purpose of destroying illusions. We enter relationships with fantasies, about love, about our partner, about ourselves. Conflict is the reality principle that shatters these fantasies. The fantasy of perfect harmony is replaced with the reality of two separate, complex humans. The fantasy of a partner who never disappoints is replaced with the reality of human fallibility. This shattering is painful, but necessary. It clears the ground for a real, authentic relationship to be built, not on sand, but on the solid, if uneven, bedrock of truth. Finally, view conflict as a ritual of repair. A conscious argument that ends in mutual understanding and forgiveness doesn't just solve a problem, it actively creates positive karma. It weaves threads of resilience, forgiveness, and deeper intimacy into the fabric of your relationship. Each successful repair strengthens the bond and makes the next conflict less terrifying. It proves to both of you that your connection can withstand the heat of the forge. So tonight, if you find yourself on the brink of an argument, pause. See the sacred forge. Ask yourself, what is the real lesson here? What in me is being asked to grow? Choose one tool from the Buddha's toolkit: right speech, vulnerability, letting go of rightness. Use the heat not to burn, but to transform. Let's continue. We have walked through the fire of conflict and seen its purpose. Now, we arrive at the quiet, potent clearing that lies on the other side, the space of forgiveness. In the context of karma and marriage, forgiveness is not a mere social courtesy or an emotional pardon. It is the most powerful alchemical process you can undertake to dissolve the bonds of past karma and free your own heart. The Buddha taught that hatred and resentment are like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Unforgiveness is a karmic chain you choose to carry, link by heavy link, believing it weighs down the other person. In truth, it only anchors you to the past, forcing you to relive the pain again and again. To forgive is not to say what happened was okay. It is to declare that you will no longer be the prison warden of your own heart. Let's reframe forgiveness through a karmic metaphor, the burdened boat. Imagine your consciousness as a boat on the river of your life journey. Each resentment, each grudge, each unforgiven hurt is a heavy stone you place in that boat. You might think you're loading the stones to throw at the other person someday, but for now, you must carry them. Your partner's boat has its own stones. As the years go by, both boats sit lower and lower in the water, sluggish, difficult to steer, on the verge of sinking under the weight of old grievances. Forgiveness is the conscious, deliberate act of dropping these stones overboard. It lightens your vessel immediately. It has nothing to do with the other boat. It is an act of profound self-care and karmic hygiene. You are clearing your own vessel so you can navigate the present moment freely. There is a critical distinction here between cheap forgiveness and true forgiveness. Cheap forgiveness is spiritual bypassing. It is saying, "I forgive you," while secretly storing the hurt in a hidden compartment of your heart, where it festers into quiet contempt or passive aggression. It often comes from a place of spiritual pride or a desire to avoid discomfort. True forgiveness is a deep internal process. It involves fully acknowledging the hurt, feeling the anger and grief, and then, through a decision of your wisest self, consciously releasing the emotional charge that binds you to the event. It means you can remember what happened without the sharp sting that compels you to react. The memory becomes neutralized, a fact without a burning fuse. This process often follows stages that mirror the Buddhist path. 1. Right understanding. Clearly seeing what happened and its impact, without denial or minimization. 2. Right intention, setting the conscious intention to free yourself from the burden of resentment, for your own peace. 3. Right effort, doing the emotional work, feeling the feelings, perhaps through journaling, therapy, or meditation, to process the hurt. 4. Right mindfulness, observing the thoughts of resentment as they arise and choosing not to feed them. 5. Right concentration. Focusing your mind on feelings of compassion or neutrality until they become your new dwelling place regarding that person or event. Let me share a story about a man named Daniel. His wife, Elena, had an emotional affair early in their marriage. They decided to stay together and rebuild, but for years, Daniel carried the stone of betrayal. He would play the mental movie of her deception, fueling a cold distance between them. He had technically forgiven her, but his heart was a vault of old pain. During a meditation retreat, the teacher spoke of forgiveness as setting down the hot coal. Daniel realized he was still clutching it. His assignment was to write a letter to Elena that he would never send. In it, he poured out all his pain, his rage, his fear. Then, he wrote a second letter, from his highest self to her highest self, expressing understanding of her loneliness at that time and his choice to release the past. He read this second letter aloud to an empty chair, then burned both pages in a small ceremony. He wasn't condoning her actions, he was declaring his own emancipation from their lingering poison. The shift was palpable. The cold wall in his heart began to thaw. He could finally see the woman in front of him, not the ghost of her past mistake. He dropped the stone. But what about forgiving when you cannot reconcile? What about forgiving someone who is no longer in your life, or who is unsafe? This is where forgiveness becomes a purely internal, and perhaps even more sacred, act. It is forgiveness for your freedom, period. It is dropping the stone when the other person isn't even on the river anymore. You do it so you stop dragging the chains of that relationship into all future connections. Consider Maya, who left an emotionally abusive marriage. For years, she was haunted by anger at her ex-husband. She felt it polluted her ability to trust new partners. A Buddhist nun told her, "You are allowing him to live in your mind, rent-free, damaging your present. You must evict him." Maya's practice became a daily meditation. She would visualize her ex-husband, and silently repeat, "For my peace, I release you. For my future, I forgive you. I wish you peace on your journey, far from mine." At first, it felt hollow. But with repetition, the emotional charge began to dissipate. She was not reconciling, she was performing a spiritual extraction. She was reclaiming the psychic space he occupied. This is forgiveness as liberation. Finally, we must practice self-forgiveness. Often, the heaviest stones in our boat are the ones we throw at ourselves, for our mistakes in the relationship, for our reactivity, for staying too long or leaving too soon. The Buddha's teaching on self-compassion, karuna, is essential here. You must forgive yourself with the same earnestness you would offer a dear friend. Your mistakes were also your teachers. Holding shame and self-blame is just another form of carrying a stone. To forgive yourself is to acknowledge, "I was doing the best I could with the awareness I had at the time. I have learned. I am learning." This completes the karmic circle, allowing true integration and growth. So tonight, bring to mind one stone, large or small, that you are carrying from your marriage or a past relationship. Feel its weight. Then, in the quiet of your mind, practice the intention of setting it down. You might silently say, "For the sake of my own heart's lightness, I choose to release this." This is not an act of weakness, but of immense spiritual strength. It is how you lighten your boat for the journey ahead. Let's continue. We have navigated recognition, conflict, and forgiveness. Now we arrive at one of the most poignant and misunderstood aspects of relationship karma, completion. Not all relationships are meant to last a lifetime. Some marriages, some profound connections, have a specific karmic syllabus. When the core lessons are learned, the debt is balanced, or the soul contract is fulfilled, the energy that bound the two people together completes its cycle. Continuing the relationship beyond this point often leads to stagnation, resentment, and a sense of lifeless obligation. In the West, we often see only two options: a relationship is a success, it lasts forever, or a failure, it ends. The Buddhist perspective offers a third, more nuanced view: a relationship can be a complete success even if it ends, provided it served its sacred purpose of awakening for both souls. How do you know if a relationship has reached its karmic completion? It is less about external circumstances and more about internal, energetic shifts. Here are some signs, which we can think of as the 5 marks of completion. 1. The lesson is integrated. The core pattern you were meant to work on no longer has a strong emotional charge. You can see it, speak about it, and even feel it, but it doesn't trigger the same reactive cycle. You've genuinely learned what you needed to learn. 2. Emotional neutrality. the intense passions. Both positive, idealization, euphoric attachment, and negative, anger, resentment, have settled into a calm, neutral regard. You can think of your partner without a storm of feeling. There is often a sense of quiet gratitude, but the compelling magnetic pull or push is gone. 3. Mutual growth has plateaued. You realize you and your partner are no longer catalysts for each other's growth. Instead of challenging each other toward evolution, you may enable each other's stagnation or simply coexist without inspiration. The relationship feels like a cozy habit, not a living journey. 4. A deep inner knowing. This is a subtle, intuitive sense that the shared path has reached its natural endpoint. It's not a thought born of frustration, "I can't take this anymore," but a quiet, soul-level acknowledgement that reads, "It is finished." There is a sense of peace in this knowing, even if it is accompanied by grief. 5. The freedom to be yourself is restored or found. Often in karmic entanglements, we contort ourselves to fit the relationship. Completion is marked by a strong, clear returning to your own essence. You no longer feel you must shrink, perform, or manage your partner's emotions to maintain peace. Your own spirit feels ready to breathe freely, whether within the relationship or outside of it. It is vital to distinguish this from the normal ebb and flow, the winters, of long-term commitment. All relationships have dormant seasons. Completion is different. It is the sense that the spring will not return to this particular garden, not because of a lack of effort, but because the harvest is fully in and the soil is called to lie fallow or be seeded with something new. When completion is recognized, you face a conscious choice. One path is conscious continuation, where both partners, acknowledging the shift, choose to reinvent the relationship. They transition from karmic partners to dharma partners, from working through old pain to building something new with shared purpose, often with less enmeshment and more conscious friendship. This is rare and beautiful, but it requires both people to be awake and willing. The more common path is conscious completion and release. This is ending the romantic or marital bond with awareness, grace, and the intention to minimize the creation of new, negative karma. This is where the teachings of non-harm, ahimsa, and compassion are paramount. The goal is to part ways without adding more stones of resentment, blame, and vengeance to each other's boats. Let me share a story about James and Priya. They married young, grew together through early adulthood, but in their 40s, found themselves in a polite, passionless parallel existence. They felt more like respectful roommates than partners. After much individual reflection, they both sensed the completion. Instead of having a dramatic, blame-filled divorce, they chose a conscious uncoupling ceremony. With a therapist as a witness, they sat together and acknowledged the gifts. Each shared 3 things they truly cherished and learned from the other. Took responsibility, each named one primary way they contributed to the relationship's stagnation. Expressed sorrow and forgiveness, they expressed genuine sorrow for hurts caused and offered forgiveness. Stated intentions for release, they verbally released each other from the bonds of marriage, wishing each other genuine happiness and peace on their separate paths. This ritual allowed them to grieve the end cleanly. Their subsequent divorce was amicable. Years later, they could co-parent effectively and even share a friendly coffee. They had honored the karma by completing it consciously, rather than letting it fester into a wound that would poison their futures. Contrast this with an unconscious ending, driven by blame, affair, sudden abandonment, or protracted legal warfare. This doesn't complete the karma. It creates a new, more violent knot of negative karma that both souls will have to untangle later, likely with other people. The pain is often far greater, and the learning is obscured by hatred. What if only one person feels the completion? This is a profound and painful karmic test. It asks the one who is complete to act with utmost compassion and clarity, and the one who is not to face the lesson of non-attachment and surrender. It is perhaps the ultimate practice in loving someone enough to set them free, even as your own heart breaks, because you see that the shared path has truly ended. Finally, remember that completion is not solely about romantic separation. You can experience a karmic completion within a continuing marriage. This is the death of an old dynamic, the needy child, the critical parent, the rescuer-victim loop. That specific karmic pattern completes, and the relationship is reborn on new ground. You might look at your partner one day and realize, the war between us is over. The person I was fighting with is gone, and the person I was fighting as is gone too. What remains is the potential for a new kind of love. So, reflect. Not with fear, but with gentle curiosity. Does your relationship feel alive, challenging, and growing? Or does it feel complete, peaceful, and finalized? There is no right answer, only the truth of your soul's current chapter. Honoring that truth is the heart of conscious living. Our journey through the karma of marriage ends here, at the threshold of your own awakening. We have moved through recognition, wounding, conflict, and forgiveness. We have witnessed the possibility of conscious completion and glimpsed the horizon of Dharma. Now, we arrive at the essential truth that contains them all: you are not the pattern on the loom. You are the weaver who can become aware of the loom. The core Buddhist principle of this entire exploration is pratyaya samutpada, dependent origination. Your marriage, with all its joy and strife, did not arise from nothing. It emerged from causes and conditions, from seeds planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness across time. But the Buddha's most radical and liberating teaching is that where there is a dependent arising, there is also a dependent ceasing. If you created the pattern with unconsciousness, you can unravel it with awareness. Your past karma determines your starting point, but your present moment awareness determines your path forward. Therefore, the ultimate question is not, why did I marry this person, but, what will I do with this marriage now? Will you sleepwalk through the old patterns, or will you bring the lamp of mindfulness to them? This is your power and your responsibility. Let us consolidate this into a practical framework for daily living, a path you can walk from tonight onward. 1. Shift from blame to curiosity. When triggered, pause. Replace, "Why are you doing this to me?" with, "What is this reaction showing me about myself?" This single shift moves you from victimhood to empowerment. 2. Practice the sacred pause. Before reacting in thought, word, or deed, insert one conscious breath. In that tiny space, freedom is born. You reclaim your right to choose your thread. 3. Embrace your partner as a guru. See their most challenging traits not as flaws to be fixed, but as perfect mirrors held up to your own unconscious parts. Thank them silently for showing you where your work lies. 4. Cultivate inner completion. Do not look to your partner to heal your wounds or complete your soul. That is your spiritual homework. As you do this work, your relationship transforms from a desperate clutch to a free and chosen dance. 5. Honor endings as sacred transitions. If a relationship completes its purpose, honor that completion with conscious communication, gratitude, and release. An ending done with love creates no new negative karma. Your marriage is not your entire spiritual path, but it is one of its most potent practice grounds. Here, your patience is tested, your compassion is stretched, and your capacity for selfless love is forged. Do not seek a perfect, pain-free relationship. Seek a conscious one. A conscious relationship is one where both people are committed to using the friction between them to polish their own hearts, not to grind each other down. So tonight, as you drift into sleep, place a gentle hand over your heart. Feel the beat of your own, timeless spirit. You are not a passive recipient of karma. You are an active participant in its unfolding. You married who you married for reasons deep and sacred. What happens next is up to the quality of awareness you bring to this moment, and the next, and the next. May the understanding of karma bring you peace, not resignation. May it grant you profound compassion for yourself and your partner, fellow travelers on this difficult, beautiful road. May your relationships, past, present, and future, become your guides toward awakening. Thank you for sharing this sacred space at Monk's Temple. May you carry this wisdom gently. May you sleep deeply, and awaken with a clearer light. Good night.